Welcome back to the Los Alamitos Weekend Preview here. Fresh off the layoff, off a little bit of a break for the Super Bowl week. There was no live racing in Los Alamitos last week. But, Chris, welcome back to the program. We come back, and immediately we come back to a very good weekend of racing. We got finals for both the Winter Derby and the Winter Championship.
Yeah, we got some big races. The Winter Derby, I've been looking it over. It's a 4 or 5 horse field on my numbers. It could go any number of ways. You got the shipper, second time over the track for Jose Flores. I think has a look in that race. And of course, I got the champion winner championship this weekend. It's going to be a very, very closely matched affair. We got Apollitical Pence, who's going to be probably the one to beat, but right next to him is the other runner. Got a big look as well.
Yeah, flashback there. They're going to do a little bit of a rematch in the championship. But let's talk about Saturday's card. And I'm in agreement with you. I already looked over the Derby. I think the Derby can go a number of ways, 4, 5, 6 deep, maybe they're legit contenders. I think Jose Flores holds the aces in that spot. But we'll get to that race later in the program when I talk to Orlando. In the meantime, what race do you want to take a look at here for this Saturday night?
I'm going to take a look at the 8th race. I'm going to look at the 2 Interest Fly, a horse who worked pretty well prior to his debut with a B- and a B workout pattern prior, but has been much troubled in both lifetime starts and showing a good amount of ability both those tries. This horse just has to get out of the gate and run to that ability to show the talent I think he has.
Yeah, he comes out of 2 slow starts, but the last race was encouraging, and we'll bring up the replay here for Interest Fly. And I think you mentioned one key thing. If he can just break out of the gate, he should be right there. We'll take a look at the replay here. This is from January 8th. And he ended up finishing 5th in this spot. But he was he the outside horse this night?
Yes, he was. Yeah. He was the number 7 horse. He broke slow and veered out and drifted out steadily away from the gate, losing multiple lengths and kind of slowing the stride.
Yeah,
drifts out right here. He's a big-bodied horse who has a good amount of talent. It's just about then he starts running. He starts running about here, then he drifts out. And look at the hold underneath and striding out strongly near the wire. I think this horse has a good amount of talent. It's just a matter of getting out of the gate and running that ability.
Yeah, and you could see it, and good catch by you that the rider was just trying to keep him as straight as possible. He was still finishing with run. It's got to be the start for him. Can he break much better than what he done here? What do you think about where he's drawing here in gate number 2?
Well, he's drawn between horses, so if he gets away clean, because he won't be drifting out, hopefully with the horse drawn on either side of him. So if he could just break within a half a length of the field, I think if he runs the ability I think he has, he's got a big look there at a decent price in the 8th event. I know he has a good amount of talent. Like I said, he was a B- and a B worker prior to the debut, so I know talent's there. And he showed a good amount of talent both those workouts. He's been a horse to watch both times. It's just a matter of getting out of the gate and running the ability. Don't forget he's a full colt. So there's some things that his horse could geld this horse to wake him up a little bit better. But we'll see. He's in for $10,000 tonight. So I think he's got a big look if he just gets away clean.
All right, give us a quick preview. You don't have to tell us your official pick, but who are you leaning to right now in the Derby?
In the Derby, it's such a closely matched affair, but yeah. I'm gonna give the edge to Apolitical Candy V to the outside, just because he's drawn on that outside post. I expect a clear path from the wire, and with everything factored in, trouble in the track variant. He's got slightly my best number, and drawn on the outside. I know he's gonna have a clear path to the wire because I'm gonna give him a big look in there, but. Another one, Scoops Donnie, was very impressive in his affair. Yeah. And, of course, Eye in the Sky also had a troubled journey. And, of course, A Famous Ribbon has a look, second time over the track for Jose Flores. So I think he's got a big look in there, but Jose's got a couple of nice contenders as well. So it's on my numbers, it's very, very closely matched, but the slight edge, the Apolitical Candy V on the outside. Don't forget, I think he was also a supplementary payment, too. So they knew what they were doing when they put him in the box.
Yeah, they paid him up to be eligible for the trials, and they got to the final. So goal accomplished, mission accomplished for Apolitical Candidate. All right, Chris, thanks so much for that analysis. We'll see you out this weekend here at Los Alamitos.
All right, boss. You have a good day.
Additional $2 pick six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And our pools continue to increase. On Saturday, January 8th, a one-night carryover of $34,000 led to a huge total pool of over $184,000. And our $10,000 pick six promo on eligible Sunday nights consistently resulted in total pools of over $60,000. And the payouts can be tremendous. And remember, on Sunday nights when there's not a carryover, Los Alamitos is continuing to add $10,000 to the pick six pool. The traditional $2 pick six. A great bet, a great deal. Always at Los Alamitos.
Welcome back to the program. Now joined by Mike Wrona, the voice of Los Alamitos. But before we get to a horse that you like on this Saturday night program, I wanna pick your brain. How was your trip with the ex-voice of Los Alamitos, Mr. Ed Burghardt? I know you were able to catch up this weekend with him.
Yes, a matter of fact, we're recording on a Thursday afternoon, Jose, and Kathy and I just arrived home in the past hour or so after an enjoyable 5 nights out in Laughlin. I watched the Super Bowl with Ed. He had us around on another occasion for a barbecue, and there was a little bit of gambling as well on a third occasion. Marsha is looking fantastic, doing really well, and it was good to see them both.
Yeah, good to always catch up with Mr. Ed Burghardt. He's still doing our morning line here for Los Alamitos, and I got to tell you, he's got a sharp morning line. I thought the Winter Derby was going to be very tough as far as, because, Scoop's Dynasty was the fastest qualifier, so we expected him to be one of the favorites. But everybody else kind of is a little bit muddy. Everybody else has those middle type chances where it could be very competitive. I thought there was a couple of interesting prices to be had, but let's pick your brain. Who do you want to take a look at here for the Winter Derby, race number 10?
Well, the night of the trials, I made my selection for the preview show, Apolitical Candy V, who did a really good job after coming from almost last to get up and win in that blanket finish. 5 horses qualified from that particular trial. And Apolitical Candy V has again drawn very nicely out in gate 10. And I'd be pretty silly to jump off and look elsewhere. So I'm jumping off and looking elsewhere because I'm pretty silly. Look, it's just a matter of relative value with my selection here for the Winter Derby, number 9, Eye on the Sky, who was favourite in that same trial as Apolitical Candy V, was beaten a half length in that blanket finish. Look at the relative odds. Eye on the Sky goes from even money favourite to 10-1 on Ed Burghardt's morning line. This horse has been favourite in 5 of his 6 career starts, and there's value to be had here, even though he was just a little bit disappointing in the trial. He had gate number 4. Apolitical Candy V was out wider in gate 7 and swooped home to win. Eye on the Sky had a little trouble at the start and drifted mid-race. Let's take a look at that trial. But, the last 150 yards, he didn't really kick in as strongly as perhaps we thought he might. So he just came up a half length short here.
There was a little bit of a bobble too here. I didn't know what to make of it. Right there, he kind of just ducked his head a little bit low. He kind of took a misstep. But look, and I'm kind of in agreement with you. Wouldn't we be kicking ourselves if this horse wins at double-digit odds, given that he had been favored multiple times leading up to this race? And it's still fresh in my mind how impressive he looked when winning his first start way back when.
Yes, now that's key. That debut win, which just blew everybody away, was from the far outside post position. Each of his 5 subsequent races, Eye on the Sky has drawn in the inside half of the field. And as I remember quite clearly, the night of the trials, leaving the track, I was walking across the parking lot, and I just had this idea that if Eye on the Sky drew wide in the final, that I was going to pick him. Well, I'd prefer he had gate 10, but gate 9 will do. And I can't go back on that initial gut instinct that I had. I mentioned earlier he'd been favourite in 5 of his 6 starts. The only race he's never been favourite was the Ed Burke Million Futurity, when he had a troubled trip finishing midfield at 3.8-1. Golden Boy was fantastic that night, winning the race. All of a sudden, Jose, you've got Eye on the Sky from a wide gate at 10-1. And to me, that's too good to pass up. His solo gate work in early January before the trial was superb at 350 yards. We know he's got the ability and the class. And the other thing is that the horses drawn either side of him last start in the trials were not brilliantly away. Apollitical Candy V came from well off the pace. A Famous Ribbon, your value pick, really good selection that night in the final trial. As impressively as he won, he was a step slow leaving the gate. Eye on the Sky is problematic at the start, but maybe he can afford to miss it by just a fraction with those horses either side of him. I just want to see him get his chance down the outside of the track. It bothers me greatly that Cruz Mendez is not riding him for the first time. Cruz would have had his pick of the 3 Flores runners, and I don't blame him for jumping to Amadeus MV. And we get Hyro Run Hell on Eye on the Sky. But that probably helps to inflate the odds.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going to. I think Jose Flores holds 3 aces in this spot. I think all 3 of his runners are legit top contenders here in this spot. And I'm with you. I think it's all about the price of Eye in the Sky, because that is what is making him attractive. And you might be onto something where he was being drawn towards the inside. Now he's drawn towards the outside. That might help.
I think it will. He's worth a shot. He's definitely worth a shot at those odds.
All right. Thanks so much for that analysis and that replay for Eye in the Sky. Double-digit odds on Ed Burghart's morning line. Mac Wrona, we'll see you out there with those tremendous calls. It's a good weekend of racing at Los Al.
Yes, mate. We're coming in fresh and all guns blazing after last weekend off. And we've got some terrific feature races to look forward to Saturday and Sunday this weekend at Los Al.
Have a good night.
Hooroo.
Champion of Champions winner Apollitical Pence. Los Alamitos Super Derby winner Flashback. The first time they met, they finished first and second in the Champion of Champions. Now it's part 2 of this new rivalry, as these 2 stars will meet again in the Brad McKinzie Los Alamitos Winter Championship Final Sunday night, February 20th. It's the first quarter horse showdown of the year. Apollitical Pence, Flashback, the Brad McKinzie Los Alamitos Winter Championship. It's quarter horse racing's best, always at Los Alamitos.
That's right. Welcome back to the program. It's going to be a rematch on Sunday night. Apollitical Pence there and Flashback duking it out in the Brad McKinzie Winter Championship. Welcome back to the program, Professor G. Orlando. How was your little bit of a breather week here?
It was pretty nice. I actually went to the beach, because it was so warm.
You got out of the racetrack? You left the racetrack?
I did. So got to enjoy that. I, had a little bit of nice food, enjoyed the football game. Got to spend some time with the family, and now back at work, back ready for some great racing action. I know you missed the racetrack, so I had to give you a little, a little bit of a view back there of the track, so you can check it out. The crew, Rick Hughes and his maintenance crew has been working around the clock, just getting the racetrack ready for a great weekend of action. 2 grade 1 races, and right off the bat, Jose, a nice 10 race card on Saturday night. Lots of pretty exciting 1,000-yard races. Even some new names from the training aspect into the card. We got Jerry Hollendorfer's got a couple of really strong runners going in these 1,000-yard races. I saw Anthony Saavedra's got a horse in. A lot of other different names in action up and down those 1,000-yard races. And a new name back here at Los Al in the Top Philly Governor's Cup Futurity winner. She Goes Up, named the PCQHRA champion 2-year-old filly here at Los Alamitos for 2021. She returns first out since winning the Governor's Cup Futurity. And, of course, the big race to close out the Saturday night card. That's the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Winter Derby. So a lot of fun this weekend here at Los Al, Jose.
Yeah, and I'm thank you for that recap of what we got in store on Saturday night. Third Gate Saludore for Jerry Hollendorfer, George Todaro. Horse ran fairly well here, Orlando, over the daytime, but that was in September of 2021. So a little bit of a layoff, but if he runs back to that speed that he showed, he should be plenty tough there.
I think so. I'm actually gonna go ahead and single the horse in that early pick 4 and try to find some prices later on the card. Just gonna give it a shot there on this Hollendorfer horse. I think it looks pretty solid in that one.
And second race, the Keepaw, Terrible Ted. Actually, Terrible Ted was one of the finalists for that 50K final a few starts ago.
Yeah, ran second.
Yeah, he ran second. He's 5-2 on Edinburgh's Roaring Line. Older brother has been knocking at the door, Orlando. Is this the race for him to win with the class drop?
I think it's going to be very, very competitive. This runner has shown the ability to kind of stay up there close to the pace. Edgar Pereira is getting the mount for Sergio Morfin. I'm going to take a little bit of a shot here with the number 8 horse, Trumper. I think this horse, especially going back to those 2 races ago, I know there was a lot easier competition, winning by 4 lengths, but I'm going to give it a shot, try to get a little bit of a price there. Since I'm going with the big favorite in race 1, I'm going to see if I can get some prices later on the card. I'm going to go with the 8 Trumper in here.
Do you know any insight onto where Cesar Ortega has been? It's good to see him back in the entry box. Do you know if he's just been off? Yeah.
Was he? Did he have a little bit of a little injury or something like that early on? I'm trying to remember. When I saw his name, I was trying to think about that as well. I know that he left here on fire after one of our daytime thoroughbred meets, and he was doing pretty good across town, and then we kind of didn't see him for a while. But it's good to see him back. I don't want to speculate. That's just kind of what I remember maybe reading at some point, but I certainly could be wrong. But it's great to see Cesar back here at Los Alamitos. Wishing him a lot of luck. Now that he's going to be riding some mounts here on Saturday night.
Yeah, he was off for a while, Lando, and he was still leading our thoroughbred standings. He had not been riding for a while, so that's how hot he was because he was racking up wins. And the last time he rode Montana Moon, Orlando, they romped by 9 lengths. That was the last time Cesar Ortega was aboard Montana Moon. So maybe a little bit of a long shot look there for Montana Moon and Cesar Ortega. Good to see him back on board. A quick glance at race number 3. Can Jerry Hollendorfer make it 2 for 2 on the night, Orlando?
That's right. And that's another big price. A short price here with Pearls and Heels, and another horse that shows some, good quickness here, especially during the daytime meet here at Los Al. Again, I'm going to try to find another little bit of a price here. I kind of like the number 6 horse Ketchup. I know it's got to do a lot better than the last time that he ran here at Los Al, going back to 2020, a long layoff. But we'll give it a shot. We'll give it a roll. And the 7 Quiet Forest. But yeah, the 5 Pearls and Heels looks pretty tough, especially Diego Herrera up.
All right, Orlando, you mentioned Ketchup. I got to bring you back on screen. I got to ask you a very important question. I'm team no cheese on tacos, right? That's why quesadillas exist. Team no cheese. Are you team ketchup on hot dogs?
I'm going to say 90% of the time, I'm going to say no. I go no. I'm going with the mustard, the onions, and the relish. I'll go with that. If it looks like a kind of a chintzy hot dog, then I'll put some ketchup on there just for some added taste. But if we're talking like a nice, a pretty good sausage there, keep the ketchup away. I'm not like the hitman who was like 90% ketchup, 10% hot dog.
Yes, that is the hitman. That is the percentages of his ratio. What about the Dodger dog? Are you ketchup or no ketchup on a Dodger dog?
Mustard, relish, and onions. That's good. That's good enough for me.
Yeah, throw on the jalapenos for me as well, and that make it.
I'm gonna put ketchup on the fries, so I'm good with that.
Now on the fries, are you a dunker or are you just all over the ketchup, all over the fries on top?
Shoot. That's I'm gonna say that no, I just put it all over the fries.
No, Orlando, no, you let me down right here. How can you do that? How can you do that? No, no, it's got to be a dunker, Orlando. Sorry.
I think I do a little bit of both, actually.
All right, there you go. You go. All right, Payoff Lego, the early pick for Orlando. I thought this was a competitive group. I know there's a 4-5 favorite on the rail, Nishiren. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that one well.
Yeah.
I just don't like the way he's been shortening his strides in the last point of call against Tougher. So that's good to see that he's been facing Tougher. But I'm not in love with those big leads given way in the last final call.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one, Jose, because I'm going to go with the 2 Paul Vincent's Poem and also the 4 being blessed. So I'm going to try to beat the the big 4-5 favorite, Nichiren. George Sharp has had some nice runners compete here at Los Alamitos. I think for a while he was one of our hottest thoroughbred owners here at Los Al. So it's good to see him back on a horse that he just recently claimed. But I'm going to try to see, if I can get another little bit of a price, get lucky in there. I'll go with the 2, Paul Vince's Poem, at 5-1, and the 4 being blessed from the same barn, the Jimmy Glenn barn, same barn as Nichiren. So those will be my 2 selections. What about you?
I think I'm spreading this race, Orlando. I'm going to give another look to the 4. I think even Pedro Perez was coming off the layoff. He's got good enough times in prior races. I think there's a little bit of a spread race for me in race number 4. Race number 5, the start of the $2 pick 6 on this weekend here at Los Alamitos. Race 10 race card on Saturday night. Good allowance. This is a pretty sharp allowance group. And what I mean by that is, like, most of them are coming in off of good efforts in their most respective last respective starts. So that's going to kind of, I think, is going to spread the money evenly. And that's kind of how Edberger Mowing Line is slated to be right now. Who do you think is actually my go favorite in this spot?
Oh, my go favorite.
Yeah. Do you think the 2-1 holds on the inside runner?
I saw that you like the 5, right? Mesa Empire.
Yes. Yeah.
I like the 5 as well. Mesa Empire. I actually picked the 4 BDR Dragster in that last outing, and the horse made me look good for one.
Yeah.
Probably look good on one of my picks there.
Nice job.
BDR Dragster won. It was actually a horse that our chart caller George Duarte also kind of noted there as well. So that's a good question. Run anti-T run on the inside there. I think it's going to be really close.
I think this is going to be an evenly board. I think you're not going to have an overwhelming favorite in that race number 5. Race number 6, is it as simple as the Speed of Swamping Ain't Easy along the rail, Orlando?
I'm going to go with the 5-2 Bills, another horse that showed some good run last out. Francisco Orduña Rojas has been probably overall our top jockey here over the past 2 years. And, I don't have the odds. Let's see, 4-1.
4-1.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going with the 5-2 Bills.
As a long shot, I would take a look to Silverwind. I know last time out you see an even dull 5th, but the horse just didn't get out all that well. And the 3rd place finish was 2 starts ago. He only missed second by a neck in that race, where Capture the Sea ended up finishing second by a neck. Project Leader was ultra sharp. Watch out for Silverwind at a price. I think that could be an interesting price there in that race number 6.
And we got to remember, this horse was also part of that $50,000 race, and you had to have a really good season to make that field. Yes. And just for those last few outs that we've seen Silverwind, it's kind of hard to believe that he was that hot, but he was. He had a really good 2021 campaign. He showed a little bit there last 2 outings ago against Project Leader and Capture the Sea. Ended up running 3rd at 14-1 odds. Then comes back at 16-1 odds against $10,000 claimers and just doesn't show much. But I can see that, Jose, as a long shot play in this race.
All right, we get to the first leg of the late pick 4, and the story of this race, Orlando. She Goes Up, the winner of the Governor's Cup Futurity. His dam had won it, and we were talking on air and about the dam having 2 offspring in that final. I think the other one was trained by Valentin Zamudio. That was one of the favorites. Well, She Goes Up was overlooked, Orlando, and she won easily. That was a confident right there in the last final 1/8 of a mile at 28-1. The mom won the Governor's Cup Futurity, and the daughter won the Governor's Cup Futurity.
And She Goes Up did it from the rail, and like you said, just kept pulling away from the field. The horse that ran second in that race, watch out, qualified to the 2 million Futurity later in the year. The horse that ran 3rd, Favorite Honey, won the PCQHRA Breeders' Futurity, and the PCQHRA Awards. Favorite Honey was the co-champion 2-year-old gelding for the year for having such a consistent year. Co-champion along with Bomb Cyclone. So She Goes Up beat 2 outstanding males in that race. But, long layoff, has not raced here since July. I wasn't crazy about that drill on January 29th. It looked like the jockey just kept, flagging the horse,
Yeah.
Pretty early on and so forth. But again, it had been a long time since She Goes Up had run, and I think there's some pretty interesting horses in this race, some pretty good prices. I think She Goes Up was going to have an excellent campaign, and we got to remember this horse is going to be pointed to the Los Alamitos Oaks. We can start seeing those symbols on our program. That nice oak tree right next to the horse's name, that tells you that this horse is eligible to the Los Alamitos Oaks, a horse that's going to be worth somewhere between $450,000 to maybe even close to $500,000 in purses for the Oaks. So an interesting comeback here for She Goes Up against some really nice horses.
Yeah, nice horses like Doc Fastlane, who was a two-time futurity finalist, the Kindergarten and the Edward Million, and then also the likes of Flash and Corona and Insider Information. I think those two on the outside are legit contenders in this race.
I agree. I like the Insider as well. Flashing Corona has had some really nice efforts. In fact, Flashing Corona ran third last out against the horse that went on to have a monster trial race in the trials of the Los Alamitos Winter Derby. Insider Information, a horse that also has shown some nice ability as well. So all in all, a pretty solid field of males that She Goes Up has to go against.
All right, race number 8, final pick 3 opportunity of the night. A little bit of a maiden claimer. And, I made up my mind, Orlando, and I went back and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this one my single of the night, my best bet. I get it. To me, the more I looked at the other runners, the more I see a lot of inconsistent efforts. And yes, I know I get it, has had, a few opportunities at the 16K level, but she's never dropped to this 10K level. She was against straight maidens last time out. She didn't look comfortable on the rail. She finally switches to the outside and gets the services of Diego Herrera, who was one of her better finishes, missing by a neck. If she just breaks clean enough, I think she should get the job done in this spot.
Yeah, and Matt Fales, when I had talked to him last season about this horse, he really liked it. He thought this horse was kind of on the edge of starting to really put things together. And like you said, just inconsistency, even though every so often she shows you really nice speed out of the gate. So, maybe that outside post is going to really help her just kind of unleash everything that she can do. And the mare, get it together. Nice mare.
Yeah, so that's a late pick 3 opportunity here. There's 2 races left. You know what time it is? Late double time. Races 9 and 10. This pretty nice allowance event, Orlando. Stuck in probate. I think if he wasn't drawn on the inside post, I think he would be ultra tough to beat. Yeah, because he's drawn on the inside, he doesn't always break well. He can break well like he did it 2 starts ago, but the inside post might make it a little bit interesting. I'm not so sure the inside post is the place to be, but no doubt that on talent, he appears to be the horse to beat.
I agree. Look at all those efforts, that recent efforts. A third in a trial to the Winter Derby against a Famous Ribbon. That's a good reason. 2 really nice horses. A couple of win in there, a couple of second place finishes in between. Just a solid runner. And we've seen this horse has a nice ability to kick it into gear as the race goes. Pretty solid. But at 8-5 against this group, really nice group. I like a couple of other horses here. I'll go for a little bit more of a price as well. I like the 3 Little Buddy, John Cooper, Juan Pablo Leon, a good combination. I'm so surprised that JPL still has not found the winner's circle this season. So, I'm a little bit surprised about that. I like the 6. I believe in Rose. Armando Cervantes gets on this horse. Armando Cervantes has had an excellent season last year. It's off to a good meet this year already, winning at 33%. Gets to ride a horse for EG High Desert Farms. I wonder if that's going to be the beginning of Armando Cervantes, riding for EG, also continuing to ride for Monte Rosa. Those are two pretty serious, solid barns. If he can do that, then we're talking about a jockey that might be definitely challenging for a championship season here in the standings. So I like the 6. I believe in Rose.
Yeah, I think the outside post is a good spot to be. And Armando Cervantes, like you mentioned, has been very, very efficient. I know it's a little bit off topic, Orlando, but the Hitman and myself, when we used to do our podcast, we used to call the number 2 gate the Bermuda Triangle, because it was, for whatever reason, it could be tough to win from there. I don't know why, but it just felt like it was tough to do that. I know we used to provide some percentages on the 9 lines as far as how gates used to play. I'll be interested to see if maybe there's some updated percentages as how the rail is playing at different distances. So maybe that's something that we can look at maybe for future shows. But for whatever reason, do you remember how, for whatever reason, we thought the 2-hole was not an easy spot to be? I don't know why, but it just was.
No. Traditionally, the number 2 post had the lowest percentage of winners from that spot. Usually about a point lower than the rail. So yeah, you guys are right on. The number 2 post, at least here at Los Al, is always the toughest one to win from.
So we'll keep that in mind as we get along to some of these quarter horse events. Before we dive into the featured event, the Grade 1 Winter Derby, let's take a quick time out and we'll come back with the Grade 1 Winter Derby. Welcome back to the program, Orlando. Look at that, fresh. I need that.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you
do.
Look at that.
I know 2021 was a really good year for you. But it's time to turn the page there, Jose. And hey, we still got a lot of racing left. We're just barely scratching the surface. We're just starting here with what's going to be an outstanding season of racing at Los Al. So if you're around in town, if you're nearby, come and join us. It's going to be a great winter derby this Saturday, and you get to take home one of these calendars here at Los Alamitos, free with your paid general admission. That begins at 4:30 p.m. The giveaway will start. So pick one of these up, and Jose, I'll save one for you. Okay, maybe even two. Even two.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. I need to update. I need to update it. Even though that's a beautiful montage of a 2 million. Highlighting the 2 million season and the champion of champions. It's fresh. A fresh new calendar is waiting for me at Los Al. All right, let's take a look at the featured event, Orlando. Featured event on this Saturday night. It is the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Winter Derby. $212,000 is the purse. 400 yards is the distance of this final. I thought there was plenty of ways to go in this race, Orlando. So let's go inside out. Let's talk horse by horse. Corona Joe. Isn't it amazing that he's been never worse than second, and the most he's been defeated has been a neck?
I mean, super consistent, just outstanding runner. Corona Joe, still a colt by Corona Cartel out of a Wave Carver mare. So we know this horse has, really quick. I haven't seen this horse up close to see how big he is, because Wave Carver was just built like a tank.
Yes.
Corona Cartel, just such a fast horse. But this horse, he's probably maybe one stakes win away from, S&S horses really loving him as a stallion. And this horse doesn't really get into much trouble in the gate. So he's got to have a really nice demeanor, a good disposition. The type of horse that can, should be able to handle the rail nicely. He's run from there in the past and ran second, broke on top. So a pretty interesting spot for Corona Joe.
Well, I loved Amadeus that night. So Amadeus was able to prevail by just a short neck, but they turned it into a 2-horse race that night. Valentin Zamudio also has the other runner right on the outside of him. That's Empty Promise. No doubt that her main asset is her gate speed, Orlando. She tends to break well. She's quick out of the gates. That's got to be her main asset here, but she's got to do that here from gate number 2.
Yeah, look at that past performance lines for Empty Promise. Just once all over, especially early on. Just got caught at the very end by a huge run from Apollitical Candy V. Otherwise, we're looking at a horse with a 3-race win streak. Diego Herrera won with the Evening Snow handicap aboard Empty Promise. we actually had an opportunity to catch up with Diego Herrera here on Thursday morning at Los Al. Why don't we go to the interview that we had with Diego?
She's a nice filly, nice petite filly. I won my first stakes with her. I won the snowbound stakes with her a couple months ago, and she was in for the trials, and Ruben has first call, so he rode her for the trials, and the owner said, if he qualifies anything else, you're back on. So thankfully they qualified too, and I was able to pick her up again, and she's been training like a beast. Today she went out to gallop, and she was feeling amazing. She's on her toes, so hopefully she can give a similar race or even better race in the final.
You're gonna have a busy Saturday. 8 mounts at Santa Anita, then a full card here at Los Al with the 1,000-yard races, and in the quarter horse races, 8 mounts here as well.
Yeah, we have a busy day on Saturday. Thanks to my agents and thanks to the owners and trainers that give us the opportunity. We'll be staying busy the weekend, and we got last week off here at Los Al, so it's gonna be fun to be back, and I'm excited.
Good to catch up with Diego Herrera. Empty Promise. He got a stakes win. Was that his first stakes win, Orlando?
That was his first stakes win. That's right. He got that first stakes win with Evening Snow, and a couple of weeks later, he wins his first Grade 1 in the Charger Bar Handicap with Kiss Through Fire, and now looking for his first Derby win here with Empty Promise.
Right, Scoops Dynasty, Orlando. I tried to beat this horse on that night. I was like, you know what? This horse had been lugging in, Orlando. And in his local starts, he had been tough to ride, and I was like, he's drawing the inside post. I'm going to try to beat him. Well, tip my hat to not only Monte Rosa and his team, but Armando Cervantes. He was sensational because as soon as they broke, he made a conscious decision to immediately pull to the right rein and get him off the rail and not even allow him to think about lugging in. So props to Armando Cervantes. He rode a perfect race here on Scoop Dynasty.
And just leaving the gate so fast, had plenty of room, to his outside to allow him to do that, Jose. And the horse just took off. I mean, that trial wasn't loaded with a bunch of top contenders, but Scoop Dynasty just had a humongous effort on the way to winning that Winter Derby trial by over 2 lengths. We talked to Monte Rosa about the fastest qualifier, Scoop Dynasty. And the Grade 1 stakes action is back here at Los Alamitos, along with the nighttime action here. And on Saturday, we have the running of the Los Alamitos Winter Derby, fastest qualifier, Scoop Dynasty. What a huge trial race. Was clear over 2 lengths right off the bat, Monty. Tell me what kind of wow performance that was for you just watching him run.
We liked this horse all along as a 2-year-old. He just was really immature. He flashed some moments of greatness. He ran a great race in the John Deere Juvenile here, and then we kind of gave him a little bit of time, and we took him to Albuquerque and ran him in the challenge finals there, and brought him back here, and that seemed to really help him mature. He's gotten more experience, more running. We also changed up the way we were training him. I felt like maybe ponying him more would be better. The horse seems real comfortable with pony horse, and so we changed up some ways that we were training him, trying to freshen him up a little more before we run him, and he's responded really well to it.
Just the 3 weeks between the trials and the final, you mentioned how you changed your training a little bit. Did that change between those 3 weeks?
No, I don't do a whole lot with him in between the trials and the finals. I mean, he's ponied twice, and then he went to the gate this morning and schooled, and so we just try to keep him fresh and happy, and the horse came back and has been eating really good.
I see him. I can see it.
That was kind of a thing with him early on in his career, that he was, he wasn't as good a eater. It took him a long time to eat, and so we kind of changed some things around with our feed, and he's responded well to it. And he comes from a super nice family, FTD Dynasties. They're awesome horses.
Best of luck this Saturday.
Thank you.
Well, no doubt. He was impressive, Orlando, and he looked plenty sharp. And fastest qualifying time, 1972.
Yeah, so, you mentioned how a lot of different ways to go in this race. If Scoops Dynasty runs that same race again from post number 3, that's going to make it really hard for Amadeus MV to come flying late,
Yeah, and I liked Amadeus. That was my lock of the night that weekend of January 29th. I kind of just we kind of talked about it in the previous show that I was liking the way, because he has shown the ability to always finish Orlando, but the way he's been breaking, specifically in that trial, in that allowance win, maybe was a sign that he was getting better. And despite bumping, he was able to win by a head. I'm impressed with the way he's getting out of the gate in better order, but given that where he's drawn, there's no room for error, because if Scoop's Dynasty breaks like that, there might not be a path for Amadeus MV.
Yeah. And how about the sire, Power Jam?
Yeah.
Thoroughbred sire. I can't remember having too many thoroughbred sires with a Derby winner here at Los Al. We've seen some futurity winners sire by a thoroughbred, several of them. All Habits won some major derbies here at Los Alamitos. He was by the sire Apollo that used to stand at Vessel Stallion Farm. So that's one.
Snowbound?
Snowbound, a Derby, though. Talking about
true.
a Derby.
I don't know.
So I'm trying to think of others. Good Reason, SA Favorite Trick was his sire.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
And he won as a 2-year-old, one as an H horse, tremendous H horse. I'm trying to remember if he won a Derby. I don't think he won a Derby.
Yeah.
So either way, Amadeus MV trying to do something special here for his sire, Power Jam. We talked to Jose Flores, who actually has 3 horses in this race. Amadeus MV. He also has Eye on the Sky and a Famous Ribbon. So here's Jose Flores talking about his trio of Derby hopefuls. On Saturday, the Winter Derby, you have 3 horses in that race, Jose, including Amadeus MV, a horse that just showed a ton of run. Not surprising. I mean, his sire is Power Jam, an outstanding thoroughbred sire. How do you see this horse?
Well, yeah, he's really come along. He's really doing well. I think he's becoming a better 3-year-old than he was a 2-year-old. And he's doing everything right now, and he's in his moment, I think. So if he has a better break than he did in the trials, he should be a big factor in it.
A Famous Ribbon also won the trial race as well in his first out here at Los Alamitos. Impressed you?
Oh yeah, he kind of caught me by surprise. He impressed me a lot. I really thought he needed maybe an out over the track, but unfortunately he didn't. Fortunately for us, he didn't. He just did everything right and ended up being, I think, the 4th fastest in there.
Eye on the Sky makes his second Grade 1 final. Where do you see him stacking up now against?
Well, he's always been, I think, one of my top guns. Always. Yeah. So, and he really got a really nice post position. So, we're hoping that he'll show his colors in this race and get that victory he's so much looking for too.
You'll be busy on Sunday night as well with the Winter Championship. Just as Dasher Hero makes that final. Tell me about this horse, because he's had some really nice performances over his career.
You know what he does. Just as a hero, what can I say? He's a full brother to the winner of the 2 million. And I always knew this horse had a lot of talent, and he does. If he can start improving a little bit more out of the gates, we're going to do some equipment changes in him this time, and hopefully he improves a little bit getting out of there, where he don't have to spot him that much getting out of the gates, and he could be a factor somehow. I know Flashback, and I know Apollitical Pence. They're great horses, but he could be that kind too if he really puts it together, and puts all his game together, and just does what he's supposed to, and act a little bit more like his brothers out of the gates,
Yeah. Is the equipment change a blinker kind of thing?
We're probably gonna add we're looking maybe to add a halter on him, and maybe it'll help us a little bit, get up out of there a little bit quicker. So we'll just wait and see.
Okay, best of luck.
Thank you.
Orlando, I think Jose Flores holds 3 aces in this spot, because my top 3 picks: Jose Flores, Jose Flores, Jose Flores. That's it. I went Amadeus MV. I went the 8 horse, which is a Famous Ribbon, who was my long shot of the night that night, and Eye in the Sky. I think Jose Flores has his race surrounded. So it's Jose Flores versus the fastest qualifier, Scoop Dynasty. I think it's going to be ultra competitive.
Wow. Well, what about Elena Andrade's horse that she trains for Howard Nichols, Just Being a Friend? This horse just quietly just puts together nice races. It's not a winning machine, but ran second in the Los Al 2 million futurity against Bomb Cyclone, comes back and runs a solid 3rd against Apolitical Candy V. This horse was right there trying to trying to put some pressure on Empty Promise, and then here comes Apolitical Candy V. So Just Being a Friend has to settle for third place, but still good enough to qualify. And still, look at those odds, 12-1. What does Just Being a Friend have to do, to get some respect there as far as the morning line? It just shows you how strong this field is.
Yeah. And why do I feel like this is just a sneaky under the radar, just qualify, and we'll get to the final type of effort, right?
That's right. We talked to Elena Andrade about Just Being a Friend. And we're here with trainer Elena Andrade, and Elena, Just Being a Friend, right behind you. And I have a feeling you guys have them right where you want them, kind of sneaking in quietly, just like you did in the 2 million Futurity. Ran a heck of a second place finish in that one. Now here you are coming into the Winter Derby once again. How is the good old boy, Just Being a Friend, doing?
Yeah, he's training really, really good. Just full of himself after that trial race and everything. He always bounces back really, really good. This time he's a little more on the muscle this time.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Kind of a similar pattern, hopefully, for the stable here. Ran a solid second in the trials, and then ran another great race. Is that kind of how you feel?
Yeah, that's just what this worked for him. He usually bounces back. Needs that kind of trial race, and then bounces right back even better in the finals. It kind of sharpens him up that race before.
Tell me about Howard Nichols. He just must be jumping out of his skin waiting for this big race.
Yeah, Howard's chomping at the bit. He's ready to come this weekend, and hoping his horse can maybe get his picture taken.
Absolutely. Best of luck this Saturday.
Thank you.
And that's exactly that's kind of the strategy, Orlando. You kind of sniffing it out, right? This might be an underrated type of horse. Just get to the finals. We got him right where we want to, right, Orlando?
That's right. Moving on, Jose, to Fortunate Corona, a horse that looked like he was going to be, major contender of the Golden State Million Futurity, was bet like he was 6-1, and just, didn't fire out of the gate, had to settle for a 7th place finish, just never got involved in that race. Comes back with an okay 4th place finish in the Winter Derby trials, again, part of that same heat with Apolitical Candy V and others. Jesus Rios Ayala, 3rd time on this horse.
Once upon a time, Orlando, he was a favorite against Bomb Cyclone, who ended up being the winner of the 2 million out of that very terrific race mare, Matabari. So there's a anytime you can get Jesus Rios Ayala in the final at 15-1, that might be interesting. What about the speed of Daytona, Orlando? This one was able to hold third in that trial.
Daytona 1000, another horse from Jaime Gomez's stable that's looking for a Derby victory. We mentioned Political Candy V several times, and this one, another one for Jaime. Jaime won this race last year with Flashback. The speed's going to be there. The speed's going to be there. Can he outbreak, let's say, Scoop's Dynasty? Can he outbreak another fast horse like Corona Yo? He's going to be out there on the outside. If he does, can he hold off those horses coming on strong at the end? It's got a big task ahead for Daytona 1000, I think.
But look who you pick up, the ageless, most stakes winner in the Crack Los Alamitos history, Ramon Sanchez, picking up the amount on Daytona 1000. Let's get to the other pair of aces from the Jose Flores barn. A Famous Ribbon and Eye in the Sky. A Famous Ribbon was ultra impressive from the rare Orlando. Didn't break all that well, but finished very strong.
And even Jose said that this horse surprised him, because even Jose said, I wasn't that crazy about the work that he had back on January 4th. I thought the horse looked a little bit green. That's kind of what we talked about previewing the trials, but just a super professional effort from A Famous Ribbon. Those horses from the Watona Stanley breeding line, have made headlines all over the nation for many, many years here, Los Alamitos as well. So A Famous Ribbon, you're going to get a nice prize there as well, Jose, 8-1.
Well, Orlando, he talked to Mike Wrona, and guess who his pick was? It was Eye on the Sky. Eye in the Sky is Mike Wrona's pick. Eye in the Sky is my long shot of the night in the line nights, Orlando. Just 10-1 is too enticing on a horse that debut win is still very vivid in our minds because it was so impressive.
So impressive. Yeah, I had to add him on my pick late pick 4 ticket as well, because man, you just cannot forget about him. And like you mentioned, some of those efforts that he's had, he just stays on your mind, right? Heido Rangel, kind of a change of rider there. See what happens with this horse. Eye on the sky. And Flores also said it on that interview that the talent is there. We just need the horse to break.
Yeah, he had a very, impressive workout prior to that race on January 4th in 1760. That was a good looking workout. Unfortunately, he didn't break all that well and ended up evenly. But let's wrap up the field with Apolitical Candy V. They supplemented this horse into the trials, Orlando. He delivered with the game win and a blanket finish, but he made up a ton of ground. This is probably the best post that they could have drawn up for a horse like this, right?
You're 100% right. That's what Jaime Gomez said when I talked to him on Thursday. How about we go to the interview first here with Jaime Gomez? Moving on to the Winter Derby, Apolitical Candy V. The Connections made a gamble. They paid $10,000 just to get him in the trials, and the gamble paid off.
Yeah, that paid off because that horse is one of the horses grooming really good with the age. He started to get better and better and better all the time, and he drew the 10 hole. I really like the position, so I hope for the best.
And he kind of won his trial like Flashback won the Super Derby. He was way back and came back flying.
Back flying, and he got the body to run longer in the class. He's a really nice horse.
So there's Orlando, mission accomplished, supplemented into the trials by the Racing Stables, and they got their finalists with Apolitical Candy V.
Yeah, and the thing that kind of intrigues me, because I'm making him my top pick, Jose, that this horse can break, so he had a Flashback type race to win that trial, right? Just came flying late. But this horse can break, it was actually a little bit of a surprise that he had to make up so much ground, because, we kind of thought that the horse was going to be a contender right off the bat. So if this horse can break and he can kind of take that step forward with that type of closing ability, I think he's going to be definitely in the middle of things right at the finish line. I think I'm going to go with him. The Political TV.
He's got the right post, and you mentioned it's if he breaks like he did 2 starts ago, I mean he should be plenty tough. So there's plenty of ways to go in this Derby final, Orlando. Plenty of ways to go. I think whatever horse you like, you're probably going to get a fair price, because I don't think there's going to be an overwhelming favorite. But we do expect the fastest qualifier to take plenty of support. That is going to be the 3-horse Scoops Dynasty.
Yeah, and we can't forget about Sunday night, the Brad McKinzie Los Alamitos Winter Championship. Tremendous showdown between the top 2 finishers from the Champion of Champions last year. Of course, Apolitical Pence, Flashback, but a really good field all around. We have 2 other horses that were in the Champion of Champions last year in Circle City. You Can Run, solid field in that race. The winner of the Brad McKinzie earns a presumptive berth to the $750,000 Champion of Champions this year. It's our 50th running of the Champion of Champions in 2022. We were lucky enough to catch up with Monte Rosa, talking about Apolitical Pence, and also with Jaime Gomez, talking, of course, about Flashback. So let's go to those interviews. And we're here in the barn of trainer Monte Rosa, and right behind you, just continuing his training, is newly crowned PCQHRA Horse of the Year, Apolitical Pence. There he is. And Monty, you're getting ready for a big matchup, a big showdown. The Grade 1 Brad McKinzie Los Alamitos Winter Championship. Political Pence with a tremendous trial effort, but there are some other outstanding runners. In fact, 4 of last year's Champion of Champions runners are going to be in this field. How is Apolitical Pence doing coming into this big race?
He's doing really well. Orlando, he came out of the trials super good, and we just went back to training him like we have been. We ponied the horse a lot, and actually this morning we took him to the gates and stood him, and he stood real well. And it's an outstanding field of horses, real deep, a lot of nice class horses. It's going to be a tough race.
This horse just kind of clicked it on right around Z-Wing Griffin time. He had been doing some outstanding work prior to that in the Robert Boniface and the Go Man Go. kind of what happened? The lights just went on at the right time?
I think he was just starting to peak towards the end of the year, and we hope that he's still peaking, now. We kind of did a little different. We ran him early at Remington, and then we ran him in the Debbie Shop, and then we gave him some time off after that, and then brought him out here to Los Alamitos. He loves Los Al and has always run really well here, and so he needed those couple of races to get back sharp, and, I think he was peaking right at the end of the year.
What makes the championship so intriguing is that the way he ran in his trials, he just flew out of the gate. Meanwhile, you have top contender Flashback, who is usually that big late runner, but he also broke really well. Then again, it could be a contrast of styles. The fast breaking Apollitical Pence, the late charging Flashback. How do you see the race?
Tough. I think it's going to be a tough. I think there's, Flashback. I have a lot of respect for that horse. He's definitely a grade one. He's a class act, and the horse is fast. And, we're going to have to run a perfect race. There's several others in the race. You Can Run, Circle City, the Stolen Lives. There's several horses. It's pretty deep field. And I think that, guys, it's going to have to be perfect. You're going to have a perfect trip and, have some luck and, a good start and a strong finish and stay out of traffic.
Best of luck this Sunday.
Thank you.
Well, this horse started to get a little mature. He got better and better, and I hope he get better when he get older. So I expect a good break, and for the company and for us, we gotta have a fair break for both, and I think we're gonna have a hell of a race.
You get the excitement of seeing that matchup, the rematch between those two horses?
Yes, you get nervous in that race for sure. That's going to be a rematch, but the other horse is really, really tough horse, and this horse don't make mistakes. Maybe he does better.
Absolutely, and we can't forget about all the other great horses in that race as well.
You got a lot of good horses, Circle City, a lot of good horses.
Mm-hmm.
So they got a little bit of a rematch now going here, these two runners, Orlando, and they're both very, very sharp. Can't deny that. And, this is the first spot. If you get this, not only is it prestigious ways to win on his own right, but if you get that presumptive berth in the champions, you can map out the rest of the year. That's it. With this spot, you're in the big one.
Absolutely. And what more can you ask, especially for a horse like Apollitical Pence, because Monte Rosa said, I'd like to give him a little bit of a break after this race. So if he happened to win, then, that's going to give the horse a perfect setup as he tries to become only the second horse to win 3 consecutive runnings of the Champion of Champions. And Flashback would be kind of along the same schedule, because he also ran in the Super Derby in November, ran in the Champion of Champions. Now he's here running in the Brad McKinzie. He can kind of sit and wait and kind of, look forward to the Robert Boniface, maybe the Go Man Go later in the year. And of course, any of these horses, we just love that berth to the Champion of Champions, a really good group all around, Jose.
Yes, looking forward to a terrific weekend of racing here at Los Alamitos. And the week that we had off, Los Alamitos put out the video for celebrating the nominees and the winners for the PCQHRA Banquet Awards, Orlando. Give us a little bit of a recap and maybe a little clip that you have for us here tonight.
Well, of course, Apollitical Pence was the champion horse of the year. Divisional winners included Golden Boy as the 2-year-old colt. We mentioned She Goes Up as the top filly. We mentioned the 2 geldings, Favorite Honey and Bomb Cyclone. H. Mare, Kissed Through Fire. So many top runners getting awards there, and as well as the top horsemen. Armando Cervantes, Special Recognition Award as a jockey. Juan Aleman, for his outstanding season, got the Trainer Special Award. Silver Racing Farm Special Award as breeder. Dr. Steve Burns was Breeder of the Year. Dr. Allred, Owner of the Year. Howard Nichols was the Special Recognition Owner. So all those award winners are featured in the PCQHRA Awards video available on YouTube, hosted by Michael Wrona. The big award of the night is the Frank Vessels Memorial Award that's given out for the contributions to the industry and quarter horse racing. This year's recipient, Carol Cooper. How about we close out the show with this feature of Carol Cooper, Jose?
That sounds great. Sounds like a great way to wrap up the show. Orlando, thanks so much for all the interviews, and we'll see you out there here at Los Alamitos this weekend.
Thanks so much, Jose. See you soon.
See you.
And ladies and gentlemen, we conclude with the Frank Wessels Senior Memorial Award, whose winner has made a significant impact on quarter horse racing in California and is recognized for his or her contribution to the racing community of the Pacific Coast Quarter Horse Racing Association. Here is a video presentation profiling the 2021 winner.
Carol Cooper has loved quarter horses her entire life. Carol grew up in Pocatello, Idaho, the daughter of Robert and Sarah Scott. While in junior high, she met John Cooper. "We both had a horse, so that was that," Carol said. "We've been together since 1953. Fast forward 7 decades later, and this wonderful couple continues to represent quarter horse racing the right way. Trainer John Cooper is one of the greatest racehorse trainers of all time, while Carol is among the most respected women in the industry through her wide range of accomplishments. A trainer, owner, and breeder of quarter horses, Mama Coop, as she's affectionately known, also foaled countless of babies at the Cooper Ranch in Hemet, California, that went on to the winner's circle at Los Alamitos. At the PCQHRA board level, Cooper has served on the board of directors for the past 30 years and has been a member of the AQHA for nearly 50 years. In 2007, Carol won the Mildred N. Vessels Special Achievement Award, given yearly to an outstanding woman with the American quarter horse racing industry. Carol was also the recipient of the 2012 PCQHRA Sam Thompson Award for her leadership within the Los Alamitos racing community. A driving force on the PCQHRA Publicity Committee, Carol also spearheaded the formation of Women Behind Racing in the 1980s and went on to serve as its president. Under her leadership, the Women Behind Racing conducted many innovative programs and events that helped popularize the sport at the time when it was needed the most. And then there's the horses that Carol has been around. In the late 1960s and early 70s, when the Coopers first visited Los Alamitos, the barn was led by the 870-yard star Uncle Wes. The stakes winner Aladuino and George and Shirley Loeb's 1979 champion of champions Mr. Dottie Bars soon followed before the Coopers family-bred Chinganderos rose to fame. Bred by Carol and John's daughter Michelle Murray, Chinganderos won 13 stakes races, including the 1985 Golden State Futurity. In recent years, Carol has been around the great champion Moonist and owned the likes of 2020 Mr. Jetmore Stakes winner Alamode and the multiple winner Branquino. You can bet that Carol still has much more love to give to the sport of quarter horse racing. The Pacific Coast Quarter Horse Racing Association proudly presents the 2021 Frank Wessels Senior Memorial Award to Carol Cooper.
I've been in this industry all my life. My father took the first quarter horse into the state of Idaho in 1942. Bucked me off, broke my arm. That should have made me not like quarter horses, but I love quarter horses. The horses are probably, other than my family, my love of life. I love this industry. I love what we have done with the industry. I've been a member of AQHA for over 60 years. I've been a member of Pacific Coast for probably 45 years. I've been on the board of Pacific Coast Quarter Horse for over 30 years now, and I've tried to generate interest to new owners to bring us into this breed. It's tough with everything we've got going on, but this is a really, really good industry, and we have some good people. Dr. Allred has really done phenomenal things for us. We're very thankful to have him backing our industry. And of course, I'm married to John Cooper, the best trainer in the whole wide world. And John has been a trainer for over 60 years. Probably going to retire this year against my wishes, but we'll still be hanging around somewhere, and we're going to raise a baby or two, probably keep racing. I'll stay on the board until they don't elect me anymore, and that's just why I'm here, what I do. And thank you to everybody that is involved in this industry.